Wow, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Warm greetings from Chams Media as we relaunch Daring Abroad, an inspirational show that showcases experiences of people venturing beyond borders. It is reloaded with 2 new segments. Kenya to the World, in which we will be tracing Kenyan products that make it to the global market, and My Magical Kenya, in which I'll be sharing my experiential journeys across Kenya. On this premiere episode, Fatima Ali Mohammed, the face of one of the most memorable TV commercials in Kenya, now a branding and advertising guru in Accra.
Sokota mviringo mviringo, tapenda.
In Dubai, Michael Zimanji is on standby to bring us the story of George Magaga, who is excelling in money exchange. On Kenya to the World, meet Margaret Komen, who is taking the aroma of Kenya's traditional vegetables to the world. And don't miss out my whale-watching experience in Watamu. Straight to Fatima's story, and hers is a story like no other.
Minim tu wadamu mbili. My mother is Somali, 4th generation. My father was Indian, but I'm a 4th generation Kenyan. I don't know anything other than that. I have not been anywhere else. I don't have relatives in either one of those 2 places. So minim Kenya, Mkenya kabisa.
Zaliwa Kenya.
Nimezaliwa, damu ya Kenya, maji ya Kenya.
Wapi?
Nairobi.
The alumna of Parklands Area Girls and Aga Khan Academy in Nairobi is a recognizable face thanks to the role she played in 1994 in one of the most memorable TV commercials in Kenya.
Unasokota mviringo mviringo, mtapenda. Chipsi.
Fatima, who studied criminal law and psychology at the University of London, had just come back to Kenya when this golden opportunity to star in a TV commercial came by accident, she says.
I was working with CCL at the time, and then 8 & Young and Rubicam. And when we were at CCL, Bitco happened to be a client. And they were going to shoot the TV commercial for Chipsy. It was supposed to represent women in East Africa. And they couldn't find a woman, to do the Swahili part. I am not even a Swahili woman, And while we were doing it, I remember at that time, Ted Josiah was doing the editing, and there was a guy called Abdul or something. So they said, oh, Fatima, Suvaebu, just show us how people are supposed to enact this. So I just came in, and just as fun, I said, ni, mnasokota mviringo mviringo, mtapenda. And before I knew it, the client came and said, Fatima, no, can you be the one to do it? And that was it.
Fantastic.
I ended up doing it, and it was one of the biggest success adverts I remember, and everyone to date remembers me for that.
How did you end up in Ghana?
I was moved to Bitco Uganda, helped set up Bitco Uganda. The joint venture partner was setting up a refinery here, so they moved me first to Ivory Coast, and then I came to Ghana. And then after 5 years, it was time to call it a day and start up my own consultancy. So I set up African Brand Warrior. I'm the CEO of African Brand Warrior, which works across the continent, whose role is to build African brands.
What inspired you to venture into your own business?
I was responsible for taking a brand from Unilever and rebuilding that brand here. Within the first year, we got 80% market share. We moved from a 200-ton refinery to a 1,000-ton refinery per day. Did what we needed to do. After 5 years, there's only so much you can do. And I just thought to myself, okay, Fatima, can I go and build other African brands across the continent? Because Alex, to be fair, when it comes to selling to our own people in Africa, we take shortcuts. We're not good at marketing. We're not good at branding. We make our packaging, just any shortcut because we just think, ni kawaida, guys are going to buy the cheapest. But when it comes to selling to America or the UK, we do whatever it is to make sure the product is top notch, because they're not going to take it if you're going to send them anything that does not meet that standard.
Fatima's farm is in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya, but offers services in more countries.
It's perfect timing. I mean, I did not think about the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and now with that coming into place, it's fantastic because it means working on brands that are going to cross the border.
Fatima, who seems to live the dream of the founding father of Ghana, the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who advocated for continental unity, has yet another key partner, Super Brands Ghana, which is part of Super Brands International that promotes the discipline of branding.
We have just finished 2 weeks ago the research for the super brands in Ghana, and we're going to be announcing the results of the brands. But what is very powerful about Super Brands Ghana is that for the first time, we ran it last year, we were able to predict beforehand what was going to happen. For example, we talk about the banking sector. The research results we did as Super Brands clearly showed that a few banks were not featuring in the research to be seen as credible. And you wouldn't believe it, Alex, not even 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, the government came in and shut down all those banks.
Above all, Fatima is a queen mother in Ghana, and she's been given a local name, Nana Nyanzu.
In Ghana, the royal kingdom, the kings, the queens, the chiefs, tend to have a very strong role and play in the development of the country. The government recognizes them. We have associations of that. So you do not go into a territory unless you speak to the palace of that town and region. So it's a very powerful position. We have different queen mothers for different roles. My role is for social development. So I come in to build the area that I'm in, which is known as Memia, building schools, boreholes, and lifting the lives of people.
Fatima is the chair of the agribusiness sector for the Association of Ghana Industries. She is active in initiatives aimed at promoting trade between Ghana and her mother country, Kenya.
I'm working very closely on the AFCFTA, which is the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and how is it that we can get Kenya, to now become a part, because we do have bilateral agreements between Kenya and Ghana that people are not aware of.
Fatima is a multiple award winner and sits on many decision-making bodies in marketing and branding. She is one of the founders of the Brand Kenya initiative. But is life abroad a bed of roses for her?
No, it isn't. Oh my goodness. I can tell you there are days I have cried, Alex, and I wonder what the hell did I do? Quitting a job, coming out from a comfort zone of knowing that every end of the month you're going to get a salary. There are months that I will not have an income, because clients don't choose to pay you on time, or there's challenges. So it's not a bed of roses.
Despite the challenges, one thing Fatima says keeps her going are her networks.
Where you have family, or if you create friends, you can survive.
Networks.
For me, that's what it is. It's your network is your net worth.
Very informative, very inspiring. And my take home from Fatima's story is your network is your net worth. And talking about networks, let us find out how Margaret Komen is tapping into her networks to export Kenya's pilipili and dried traditional vegetables to the world. Michael Simanji, it's your turn.
Our story begins here in Aldai location, Nandi County, some 320 kilometers from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Rose is on her way to the farm. She's been farming for most of her life.
Hapo awali ilikuwa ngumu, hazikuwa sinatembea. Unaweza kuta unapanda na market inakuwa shida. But wakati huu imekuwa mzuri sababu tumekuwa na wale wanakuja kutununulia kwa shamba, unauza na pesa inakuwa.
These people that Rose is talking about are none other than Maize Foods, a private company that specializes in production of spices and ethnic foods for export.
This is what I have to dress up in.
Based in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, the company has been in operation for about 16 years now.
The whole idea behind the business was born in Germany during a trade fair that I attended in 2001. And while there, I visited the Kenyan stand, and I discovered that there were so many opportunities for Kenyan products. Our main variety is dried African bird's eye chili, and then we have long cayenne chili, we have red demon, we have Freshno, and we have Bullet. Secondly, we also are seed merchants certified by KEFIS. That means we propagate, we produce, and we process our own seed. This is to ensure that we have consistency of the final product. And then we have Saga, which is called spider plant. We have Dodo, the common amaranth, or Michicha, or Chepkerta in where I come from. And then we have Kunde, which is the cowpea leaves, and we have Skumawiki.
Once the product is received here, we do a quality inspection just to ensure that the product has met all the quality parameters put in place. Then after that, if it is for the vegetables, it undergoes the plucking, just resorting to ensure that the plucking was done well at the farm level. After that, it's washed, blanched, sun-dried, and then packaged.
80% of our produce goes to pharmaceutical industry. There are 3 major extracts that are obtained from the products. That is oleoresins, which is both a pharmaceutical product and a food additive. Then we have the capsaicinoids, which can be used for medicine. And then they also produce the pigment. The pigment is used both for food coloring, and it is now very popular for cosmetics, for lipstick. And I received a lot of assistance from the associations and government bodies that regulate this industry. Export Promotion Council then, it's now rebranded. It's called Kenya Export and Brand Kenya. We are exporting to the US, to the Middle East, to Europe, to Australia. Our products are not perishable. They are dehydrated. That means they have a shelf life ranging from 2 years up to maximum 3 years, depending on the product. That means the easiest and most convenient form of movement of the product is by sea. For express parcels, we use courier, and we also use the postal services. That's by air.
We are very proud. Saizi, kama tunaweza panda mboka hapa Kenya na tupate pesa kutoka ng'ambo, hiyo ndio mzuri, sababu mboka yetu iko na manufaa sana.
And it's really fulfilling to see happy farmers selling their products to us and seeing their lives changing and transforming as we move along.
And before I called it a day, I had the opportunity to taste this Kenyan ingenuity.
Very tasty.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. From farm to freight to plate. And that's from Kenya to the world.
Thank you, Michael. And that story leads us into a short break. When we return, we will tell you about George Magaga, who is excelling in money exchange business in Dubai. Also ahead, my experience in whale watching in Watamu. Welcome back. You are watching the Reloaded Daring Abroad. Time now to cross the borders to Dubai, and Michael Simanji has yet another inspiring story.
Dubai, a hub of beauty, culture and commerce. Known for its artistic and record-breaking landmarks, Dubai is definitely a tourist's paradise. And it is in this paradise that George Samson Magaga's story lies. Magaga has been living here for the past 12 years. When Daring Abroad caught up with him, he was on his way to work. Magaga is the corridor in charge for the African region at Al Rostamani International Exchange, one of the top money exchange companies in the United Arab Emirates. He is also the first African to hold such a position at the company.
I'm in charge of the whole of the African continent, basically to do marketing and introduce our services and products to the African countries. not just Kenya, but all the 54 plus African countries. Our company has been in business for about 30 plus years, but they haven't really been concentrated on the African market as such. But due to migration and various issues, Africans have become the highest and fastest growing market in the UAE, and Kenyans are leading in that. Usually I go and visit some of our branches just to educate our team members, train them on customer service. So I visit a couple of branches a day, maybe 2-3 branches. Most of the time I'm in the head office dealing with the back end of the business in terms of customer complaints, product complaints, dealing with MoneyGram.
Since taking office in March of this year, George has proven himself vital in the rebranding and expansion of the company. One major way is through introduction of services like M-Pesa, a Kenyan mobile banking transfer service that allows users to store and transfer money through their mobile phones.
The greatest thing about M-Pesa is that I'm here in Dubai, I have an M-Pesa account, and I can send money and transact with my M-Pesa account while I'm here in Dubai. Lakini kitambo, I would only have to send from here, for example, to Kisumu or to Nairobi, and someone has to go and collect it from there. If I have some work that I need that money for, that person who collected the money has to be trustworthy. All over the UAE, we have like about 30 branches, and we have M-Pesa services throughout all our branches. So a customer would basically walk in, get his details scanned into the computers, give the money, and it is sent within 5 minutes. Basically 5 minutes, the money will be in our numbers back home.
At this point, I wanted to know how the old boy of Kisumu Boys High School found himself living in the most populous city in the UAE.
In 2008, I met a friend of mine, and she gave me some advice about possibilities of living in the UAE. I didn't know about the UAE at that time. I came by and started working as a sales associate in a company that does furniture retail. A lot of Kenyans are in the UAE. We're about 55,000 Kenyans in the UAE. Wote lazima tutume pesa nyumbani. My job here is to make sure that our services are, first of all, fast and cheap and efficient for Kenyans.
Still on the topic of Kenya and patriotism, I wanted to know, does Magaga have any intention of ever returning to the 254?
Sijasahau nyumbani. I was born in Kisumu, raised in Kisumu, sijasahau nyumbani. My plan is eventually to go back home. Invest and go back home, build home, kujenga nyumbani. Kuna wale ambao hawajabahatika kuja huku. Sasa ni wajibu wangu ni make sure nimeinvest nyumbani, nijenge wenzangu ambao wanakuja baada yangu.
Magaga's story is one of commitment, consistency, and seizing opportunities. He also emphasizes the need of not forgetting where you came from. And when I asked him for his parting shot, this is what he had to say.
When I came here, I didn't close myself to only the Kenyan community. I chose to open myself up to talk to people from different communities and get to know them, their experiences, cultural exchanges, and just be outgoing. Network with everyone.
Thank you, Michael. Indeed, borders are not barriers. Now, some people wonder whether I live in the skies. No, I get time to explore Kenya and watch my recent experience in Watamu. Watamu, Watamu, Watamu. So much to see, so much to experience. And the magic that everyone is talking about now is whale watching. Wow, this was my turn to see the whales. It is a seasonal spectacle and one of the unique signature attractions of Watamu that is found in Kilifi County.
Almost 9 years ago now, in 2011, our boats who were going out deep sea fishing suddenly started reporting seeing whales in July, August and September. They are migrating every year in the Antarctic winter. They leave the really cold waters of the Antarctic and they come up the east coast of Africa, all the way up past Mozambique, Tanzania and to Kenya. And up here is where the mothers give birth to their calves. And then as we're turning around into the southern summer, so when we get into the end of September, beginning of October, they turn around and they go all the way back down to the Antarctic.
The Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Najib Balala, has been here too.
Here we saw the migration of the humpback whale. We saw a mother and a cub, and it's exciting. I can tell you the anxiety that was created until we saw these animals. It's really nice. So I want to encourage Kenyans to come to Watamu and see the migration of the humpback whale.
Meanwhile, our stay at the Hemingway's Watamu was epic. Hemingway's is adjacent to the marine park that is managed by the Kenya Wildlife Services.
In the marine park, we have what we call the coral gardens. The coral gardens are part of the habitats of the marine protected areas, and this is where we have the nurseries of different species of fish. In that particular area, we allow people to do what we call snorkeling. So there are certain special goggles that you put on your eyes, and you actually swim as you look at what is under the sea.
It just looked like a magical place that I've never been to. And I said, how can we have such a beautiful place in Kenya and I've never been there? I've been in diaspora for about 20 years. Specifically West Palm Beach, Florida.
From Nairobi, you can travel to Watamu by road via Mombasa, or you can take a flight. For my crew and I, this Safari Link caravan did the magic. Thank you, Raphael. Indeed, the world has become a global village. We are glad you found time to be with us on this premiere episode of the Reloaded Daring Abroad. On behalf of the Chams Media crew that made this possible, many thanks for watching.